Welcome to Keep the Faith Ministry News. Pope Leo XIV celebrated his first Easter Mass as pontiff, with a call Sunday to lay down arms and seek peace to global conflicts through dialogue, but he departed from a tradition of listing the world's woes by name in the Urbi et Orbi blessing from the Loggia of St. Peter's Basilica. Leo, the first U.S.-born pope, emphasized Easter's message of hope as a celebration of Jesus' resurrection after being crucified. Let us allow our hearts to be transformed by his immense love for us. Let those who have weapons lay them down. Let those who have the power to unleash wars choose peace. Not a peace imposed by force, but through dialogue. Not with the desire to dominate others, but to encounter them, the Pope implored. With the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran in its second month and Russia's ongoing campaign in Ukraine, Leo acknowledged a sense of indifference to the deaths of thousands of people, to the repercussions of hatred and division that conflicts sow, to the economic and social consequences they produce. Without mentioning the wars by name, Leo quoted his predecessor, Pope Francis, who during his last public appearance from the same loggia last Easter reminded the faithful of the great thirst for death, for killing, we witness each day. Francis, weakened by a long illness, died the next day on Easter Monday. The Urbi et Orbi blessing, Latin for to the city and the world, has traditionally included a litany of the world's woes. Leo followed that formula during his Christmas blessing. There was no immediate explanation for the shift. Earlier, Leo addressed some 50,000 faithful from an open-air altar in St. Peter's Square, flanked with white roses, while the steps leading down to the piazza, where the faithful gathered, were filled with spring perennials, symbolically resonating with the Pope's words. He implored the faithful in his homily to keep their hope in the face of death, which lurks in the abuses that crush the weakest among us, because of the idolatry of profit that plunders the earth's resources, because of the violence of war that kills and destroys. Speaking from the Loggia, the Pope announced a prayer vigil for peace April 11th in the Basilica. Small shifts in traditions. Leo greeted the global faithful in 10 languages, including Arabic, Chinese, and Latin, reviving a practice that his predecessor, Pope Francis, had let lapse. Before retreating into the Basilica, Leo stepped forward out of the Loggia's shadow and waved to the cheering crowd below. He later greeted people in the piazza from the Pope Mobile that took him all the way down Via della Conciliazione toward the Tiber River and back. During the marathon that is Holy Week, Leo also reclaimed the tradition of washing priests' feet on Holy Thursday, a gesture of encouragement toward clergy, after Francis had chosen a more inclusive path, traveling to prisons and homes for the disabled to wash the feet of women, non-Christians, and prisoners. The 70-year-old pontiff also became the first pope in decades to carry the light wooden cross for the entire 14 stations during the Way of the Cross on Good Friday. Christians in the Holy Land mark a subdued Easter. Traditional ceremonies at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, revered by Christians as the traditional site of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, were scaled back under an agreement with Israeli police. Authorities have put limits on the sizes of public gatherings due to ongoing missile attacks. The restrictions also dampened the recent Muslim holy month of Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr holiday, as well as the current week-long Jewish festival of Passover. On Sunday, the Jewish priestly blessing at the Western Wall, normally attended by tens of thousands, was limited to just 50 people. The restrictions have strained relations between Israeli authorities and Christian leaders. Police last week prevented 2 of the church's top religious leaders, including Latin Patriarch Pierbattista Pizzaballa, from celebrating Palm Sunday at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Gaza's tiny Palestinian Christian community celebrates first Easter since ceasefire. At the Holy Family Church in Gaza City, Catholics young and old gathered for a traditional Easter Mass. Singing, they formed a queue in the aisle, waiting for their chance to kiss a sketch of Jesus held by a member of the clergy who wiped the glass frame between turns. There is great joy, especially after the ceasefire and after nearly 3 years of suffering and being unable to celebrate all the holy holidays, said George Anton from Gaza City. People are somewhat relieved and more stable. Armenian Christians try to show normalcy by celebrating in Iran. Armenian Christians observed Easter at a church in Iran's capital on Sunday, striving to maintain a sense of normalcy 5 weeks into the war. Families embraced, and children exchanged painted eggs at the St. Sarkis Cathedral in central Tehran. Iran's capital has been targeted by daily airstrikes since the United States and Israel launched the war on February 28. Whether we like it or not, we have young children who do not understand what's going on, said Juanita Arakel, 40, an English language teacher. They just need to feel normal. The Islamic Republic, with a population of around 90 million, is home to some 300,000 Christians, mostly Armenians, and 3 seats in parliament are reserved for Christians. Our calls and prayers are that we will be able to end this war, said Sepa Sargshan, the Archbishop of the Armenian Diocese of Tehran. Our calls and prayers are that we will be able to end this war. Quote, and through his policy also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the Prince of Princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Daniel 8:25. This is Keep the Faith Ministry News. Thank you for watching.